Todd.
Good to see you, man.
Welcome back, brother. Second time on the show.
Second time's a charm.
First time it was Grow and I podcast.
Yeah.
Now we're back on the Elite Coaching Cast because
now we already grew.
Yeah. This morning we crossed 3.5 million views in our first 3 months on YouTube.
Dang.
So shout out
Congrats.
to you guys. Thanks, y'all.
That's awesome.
Appreciate you guys. Fired up.
That's awesome.
Fired up.
That's hard to do.
1,000 subs and 3.5 million views both crossed this morning on YouTube. We don't really count YouTube.
That's hard to do.
We don't count the streaming service.
That's YouTube is that's
sponsors
that's
care
the
about
North
YouTube.
Star. I don't know about you, but I love YouTube.
I love YouTube.
Like that's all I watch.
That's what I watch. You don't watch any TV?
Barely.
I watch no.
I watch some college football and stuff,
That's all.
but I don't watch like shows.
No.
I can't.
What the heck you don't watch on TV?
It's a commitment. Get into a show,
know.
it's like
I know.
I gotta learn the characters.
I know. I love that.
My wife hates it, but
Yeah. You said something while we were doing our pre-prep that I want you to dive into. The psychology of sleep. You're a world-renowned sleep expert. You have an unbelievable line of products, and I'm really excited to try some of your stuff. The psychology of sleep.
yeah.
When you start having sleep problems, you have a few bad nights of sleep, people get in this ruminating thought of you get anxious to go to bed.
Yeah.
Chat with me about the psychology of sleep.
The psychology of sleep is really the only thing that matters, because it doesn't matter if you knew every little nuance of the science of why and how and like everything to do with the brain unless you can actually do it, right? So I think we're actually in a weird time with that, where it's kind of like, fitness has gone through its phases of this, where everyone wanted to learn the science. I would say in like the 2005 to 2015 era of fitness, it was like learning all about, fibers and just the actual interactions and like the physiology of fitness.
Yep.
And if you see now, it's swung back to like compliance. How do we get you to actually do stuff consistently? And it always comes back to consistency. And I think we're in a weird time with sleep where all of a sudden people, and it seemed to happen abruptly, or like went from sleep being the leftover almost to, wow, this is insanely impactful, even more than fitness. I would say it swung really far. And with that new intentionality and energy almost comes worry. And I think, and this is just my personal viewpoint on this, I think the interaction between fitness and sleep is actually detrimental to the psychology, because I think that people look at fitness as kind of linear, right? You can overload, you can get stronger faster, continue to increase your cardiovascular output. Like it's an infinite game to an extent.
Yep.
And I think right now some people are treating sleep the same way. Mm-hmm. But sleep is really the ultimate form of peace and rest, and it's almost a exit of intentionality, right? Like you're not conscious, you have no control. So you can set yourself up for success, but at the end of the day, you need to be in the most relaxed state. And usually that comes from lack of attention. It's almost like a carelessness. And so because I think people are treating it similarly, it's like, they're like sleep maxing. Like they continue to try, like if you're getting 8 hours of sleep, you have good quality, you feel like you have good quality, you have energy, it's like check the box, move on, keep doing what you're doing. I think people think it's like, if that's already happening, well, what if I perfect my temperature? What if I do meditation? What if I create this new routine? Like that doesn't mean your sleep's necessarily going to get better. Like you could be, some of the best sleepers, especially athletes that I've worked with, are the ones that think about it the least. And so I think there needs to be a shift in the relationship with sleep. And it's not a infinite game of forever increasing the quality of your sleep. It's something that should exist and be there. And once you have mastered that, check the box and move on, because you're never going to stress your way into sleeping better. It's not going to happen. The opposite's going to happen.
Yep.
But it's hard. I think on the flip side, we're going to sit here and probably talk about why it's important. And so when you hear all these negative repercussions of not sleeping well, it's hard not to naturally have worry and concern about that. And sleeping is a challenge for a lot of people. So it's like, how do you detach, those positive benefits and I guess the negative repercussions of not doing it well from your actions and your mindset or your mind state at night? And that's hard.
You said the ones who think about it the least are the ones who seemingly are the most successful with their sleep. Mm-hmm. That's an interesting point. I feel like it's the same with really all athletes I've ever worked with, and really any human I've ever worked with. You're not going to stress your way into success.
No.
You never, ever will. With all of the wearables and the technology and the data tracking, and listen, we track a lot of data with our clients.
Yep.
But there comes a point of diminishing returns. There comes a point of paralysis by analysis.
Yeah, 100%.
And, people will follow a lot of influencers who give out amazing information and whatnot. And it's a common thing I get on my page of like, this all makes so much sense, but then these people say the opposite. And that means you're probably taking in too much data. We're probably overthinking this.
Yeah.
Unfollow them and just follow me. But
like and subscribe.
There's like and subscribe to the YouTube right now. No, but there is a world that exists where some of the best athletes I've ever had that I'm thinking about, they were so laissez-faire.
It's ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss.
With sleep, I'd say it's the most applicable.
It is.
Like the people, I'm telling you, like, I just got back. We worked with the Oakland A's and the Yankees.
Amazing.
And some of the guys we were talking with, it's unbelievable, like the lack of awareness.
Yeah.
But they have no issues with it.
Do you think that's like an elite athlete thing? Like I've just always been good, so I never had to dial in the things, or is it more? So you were an athlete. You were a college football player.
Yeah.
You played with people like Le'Veon Bell in college, who was an insane athlete. Like you and I to put a little bit more work in other people. So is that why we care about the data and these people just don't? Like I'm sure Le'Veon Bell's not tracking his sleep.
I found like the most elite athletes are either on it's very polarizing. They're either so good that they just do it. They do the thing and they only focus on working hard and getting it done.
Yep.
Or there's someone that squeezes every single ounce of opportunity out of themselves.
Who's an example of that?
Like Bryce Harper, I would say, is somebody that's doing every single thing he can do.
He's still playing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, he does.
I don't follow baseball much. We're the same age.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in high school, we, like I said, we were the exact same age. And I remember hearing about this dude who's like the next phenom.
The dog.
And so he is very meticulous with what he tracks.
He's so he tracks stuff, but I would just say like he's a guy that's willing to do anything he can to get an edge.
Amazing.
But then on the flip side, Le'Veon would be a good example of somebody who he naturally is a healthy guy, and I think he wants to take care of himself, but he's not over-analyzing any data. He's like, listen, I'm going to do what I do. Yeah. And that's probably part of the reason why he is so good is because there's this stress-free mindset. So I think it can work in both ways. Like my wife, she's a 2-time Olympian. Yeah. She's somebody that just like follows coaching to a T, will do whatever she's told, but doesn't get stressed about the data. She just is like, tell me what to do and I'll do it. And so there's a really wide range with athletes, but and I don't think there's any particular route to success. I think both can work. Yeah. But sleep gets hard, like when you start taking all this data and analytics in your sport, and you start to treat sleep in the same way, gets tough because I think they're very different.
Yeah, Bryce Harper, for example, building on that, I'm sure at any point in the season he can kind of tell you some metrics and analytics about his KPIs and like where he needs to be and where he needs to improve on. And to your point, if you bring that to, if you're stressed, and you're sitting there like, I need to stress out, I need to stress out, I need to stress out. Like what you're looking for, the world's going to continue to give you more confirmation bias than it exists. Yeah. So there has to be a trade-off here. I feel like I've sort of mastered it myself. I have like 3 metrics that I allow myself to track. And like really sleep latency is number 2. Body temperatures, sleep latency. How's my energy on minimal caffeine? But we're in a podcast today. So I'm a crush of caffeine. Yeah. If you had 2 or 3 metrics that people really actually need to track for sleep, what would that be for you?
Consistency, like consistency in bedtime and wake time, like it just based on the data is by far the most impactful. Because I think the thing that even though that seems like a very simple metric, there's so many psychological factors that play into that. Just consistency in bedtime alone, when you think about like your lifestyle and your behaviors leading up to bed, it almost folds everything into that one metric. But consistency is the one thing that you can't really hack consistency in sleep, just because, the way the sleep cycles progress throughout the night, you're having different proportions of sleep cycles, the first half of the night versus the second half of the night. And so when you're either waking up earlier or going to bed earlier, those sleep cycles are based on your normal circadian rhythm. And so if you go to bed late, you're missing out on the cycles you would normally get at that time, as opposed to just starting from square one. It's really interesting how that works. You kind of jump into your normal timing. Yeah. And so no matter what you do, like consistency, if you're not consistent, you're always leaving some meat on the bone. Yep. And there's no way to get over that. So consistency is always number one. Quantity, right? Like when you look at all the data out there on sleep, quantity is the one thing that, you know, when you like all the long-term, like the really good studies that are, you know, or any, you know, like meta-analysis is all quantity related. So I think like based on the data, you know, understanding that 7 hours is the absolute minimum and there's no way around that, you know, for the people who think they can get 6 and function, that's just, it's not true. So, I mean, those are really like the two that, and they're the most simple and the most boring. And the other thing with that is I think you don't need any technology to do those. You could have a notebook, you know, think about when you fall asleep. The latency thing I do like. I think it's one of those things that's hard to get. Sometimes it just depends on what you're tracking with. It's hard to get.
There's so much confirmation bias you can have in the sleep latency thing. Yeah. It's not like you're sitting there with a timer.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, now I'm asleep.
Yeah,
like
it's
you
hard.
Hit it.
It's hard. I like resting heart rate just in general as like a pulse on everything in your body. I think with sleep in particular, like you can actually learn a lot from that, from trends wise, you know, different substances. Like you really see the impact just on resting heart rate. So obviously HRV and there's different things, but I think resting heart rate's like, because it's old and not sexy, I think it's underrated now, but I think it's something you should always keep a pulse on, because again, it's one of those that there's so many factors that go into your resting heart rate, from a psychological state to obviously cardiovascular fitness. Like there's just so many nuances, and I like metrics like that almost are like a snapshot of everything.
Yeah. You know, I have to be a metabolism nerd for a minute, because a very commonly misunderstood thing is to be able to sleep really well. And that doesn't mean you can sleep for 10 hours. That means you go through your sleep cycles. That means you wake up energized, ready to go and attack. That is actually a great sign. It's one of the primary signs of metabolic health, because take like ADHD, for example. Mm-hmm. ADHD is like this slapped on everyone's sticker that we all have it.
Yeah.
Like, well, of course we do. Look at our fucking, like, we're sitting in a room with no sunlight, with blue light blasting on us, making conversation for social media.
Yep.
Like, of course we have ADHD. That's actually a sign of very low brain energy. It's a sign of not being able to create enough energy to sit there and lock in. It takes more energy to sit down, lock in on a task than it does like being all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, sleep is the exact same way. Your body has to be able to create more energy at a state of unconscious rest than it does for you to be up and active. And it's one of the greatest signs of metabolic health. You have an unbelievable line that's really impacting a lot of people's lives with sleep. You've got some nasal strips right there next to us. Chat with me about that.
Yeah, I mean, the nasal strips have been like, our goal with these were just, we were going to come out with like some generic. You can see they're kind of small if anyone can see, but we were going to come out with some generic one. We started off with like mouth tape and sleep masks, pillowcases, but
very cool.
You know, we got requested for nasal strips a ton. It's also one of those things that's kind of a net positive for everybody. You know, with mouth tape, there are contraindications where it's not great for every population.
Yeah.
And these are something you feel an immediate impact. But so we took like 18 months, redesigned the whole thing, patented it, and worked really hard, and it came out great. And they're minimalist, no magnets. It's super easy. And the other thing is you can use it in any of the sports. So we have NBA guys, MLB guys, where a lot of the other ones pop off and they don't stay on. So, but in general, it's, you know, when you think about sleep, if you're not breathing well, you can't sleep well. You know, that's obviously your breath is one of the most impactful things to your body, especially your nervous system state. So you always have to start there. And so, you know, it's hard to talk about sleep without first thinking about breathing, in my opinion.
I agree.
And then the rest of our products we're kind of coming out with anything sleep related that's supporting like our natural behaviors, no technology, all holistic stuff. Trying to, you know, there's time and place for technology. I use Oura Ring, but it's. I don't think we want to bring more of that into the space.
I agree. I want less.
Yeah.
I want everyone to like have their phone out of their room and all this stuff.
I know.
Like I don't like technology while you sleep, and also may just get amazing feedback from like things like Oura Ring.
It's hard though. It's hard. Yeah, we have an infrared blanket coming out. It's going to be really cool.
Infrared blanket.
Well, so it's we have the patented use to this material called Celiant. It's plant-based bioresponsive fabric, and so essentially when your body heat hits it, it reflects back as infrared energy.
Amazing.
And so initially when we looked into this, it sounds like it could be something that potentially could be gimmicky, but they've done quite a bit of research on this. They've been using it in like military. They've been using it in athletic space for a while in different like compression gear. And so it's also netted and really open. So it's 25-pound weighted blanket, which weighted blankets have great data just from an evolutionary perspective, right? Like they work awesome on animals because it's this sense of security and like, we're no different. And so just weighted blanket alone was always going to be down the line for a product. And then, with everything we've done from the mouth tape, it's like, okay, how do we take something we know that works, it's backed by science, and then elevate it? And so, it took a long time to figure out how to get this material in it. But I think it's going to be really cool. So reduce soreness, increase blood flow to like soft tissue that's touching it. And it's one of those things that, when you're talking about squeezing every ounce of ability out of yourself, it's something that can make a difference, especially it's cumulative, using it every single night. And it does create, the thing I like most about it, it does create a great routine. Anything like that builds a routine for sleep that's almost passive, I love, right? Because, when it's not passive, it can add stress. Yep. And so it's almost like you want to be as fluid as you can be while creating the right behaviors. Because I think when you become rigid, you become fragile. It's like a skyscraper. They're intentionally move around and they have flex. It's the same thing I think with routine. It's like if you have this insanely rigid 1 hour routine, you become fragile. Mm-hmm. And that's the opposite of what we want. As soon as you have to travel, everything falls apart. Yep. So I think like there's a middle ground. It's like how do we replicate environments with the least amount of tools that we can possibly use? Like that's why the sleep mask is like honestly, especially for like college football teams, probably the sneakiest product, because those guys, most guys nowadays, or most people out there, scrolling, watching TV until they fall asleep. Yep. And so a sleep mask, it's horrible. But the sleep mask at least creates a routine, a commitment to, hey, I'm going to go to sleep and shut it off. Yep. It might be really late in that routine, but at least it's something. And then I think, with mouth tape, and I've, a lot of sleep docs, I've had great conversations, and a lot of the best doctors out there, like they're very open-minded when you can speak face to face. But I think the biggest impacts from mouth tape are you're essentially backing yourself into breath work, right? Like most people, like when you hear breath work, I would say probably the people you work with, 90%, they're like, oh, which I'm the same way, like I'm like, and it's not, and
it's not that I'm above it.
Right, the science, it works. Yeah,
I really got to sit here and do it.
It's like putting the energy towards it. So I think what's happening is most people will never commit to that. Yeah. They put the tape on, all of a sudden they have to regulate their breathing. Yeah. And so if you do that when you get into bed, you're getting 10 minutes of passive breath work, and I think that's actually what's having the most benefit. And it might not have anything to do with the actual tape and the mechanism that's happening, and everything to do with actually relaxing your nervous system before your head hits the pillow.
Amazing.
And that actually, I think that it's so hard to measure. Like we've debated on doing some studies and trying to set something up, but it's really hard. Like, what population are we working with? And you can't control someone's state before they go to bed. Like you don't know what it looks like. So my concern is just like, what would that study look like, and how to be done in the way that like really shows the impact.
Yeah, with research, obviously,
it's hard.
I'm in a very interesting relationship with research. I love knowing all of this stuff. What have we proven? What do we know to be true that's repeatable time over time over time? But then also, I'm from a bodybuilding background.
Yeah.
Bodybuilders
tough to
for
research
80 freaking years. That is the greatest research subject you can possibly have because the routine is perfect.
Yeah.
Everything they do is to a T. And when I say that, people are like, bodybuilders die at age fucking 50. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think the hardest part, though, with bodybuilders is like isolating variables, because they tend to be doing everything they can.
Everything.
So it's like, what's actually,
I know.
That's the hard part.
So I think when you're doing everything you can, everyone has the same access to drugs.
Yeah.
They got the same access to the best beds and the supplements and the diet and everything. I think where we get so much information out of that population, which I take anecdote from that group is way more powerful than any research you can ever show me.
Yeah. Well, they're dedicating their whole life.
Their whole life.
Yeah.
We really get down into the finite things of, we were talking earlier about elite athletes who really track every single variable.
Yeah.
We really get down to, you can lose a show over a 16-week prep if the other person does everything the same way you do, but he gets better sleep.
Yeah, no doubt.
You can literally lose a show just over that. And it's over everything, right? Over having a healthy relationship versus not healthy relationship. You can lose a show over that.
For sure.
The bodybuilding population, I think, especially with the sleep stuff and your background as athletes and whatnot, man, those people, like, they will do anything to get an advantage.
Mm-hmm. But what's weird, I think, where it gets hard is everything else that you do to get an advantage, the more effort, the better.
I agree.
You know, like almost anything.
I agree.
And that's the one thing, it's almost like, all right, I got to take a step back.
Yeah. There's very few places in life that more effort equals worse outcomes.
Yeah. And that sleep's like the one. I always wondered this. I'm curious your opinion. What do you know how, like, through the years, there's always something we're promoting or not thinking is that bad that's like so off in the health and wellness space. I wonder what the thing is right now that's like the thing that we think is good that's actually like horrible.
I think there's a couple.
What do you think it is?
Well, the seed oils thing is just unbelievable that we think that that's more healthy. Not we, that some doctors think that that's healthier than eating fucking red meat.
Yeah, that is crazy.
That's outrageous. But like anyone with an IQ above room temperature understands. Like, dude, I probably shouldn't like have a lot of these.
Like,
right.
Anything in high.
I think there's going to be a lot of negative outcome from peptides down the road. Now, let me say,
dude,
it's
a weird space right now.
We've used peptides for in body. Like,
what?
Why are these things becoming so mainstream to me? It's like, what do you mean? We've had this.
Yeah, it's been around forever.
You guys are amazed by this?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of negative downstreams of GLPs for most people. Because you start taking this stuff, your body starts turning over more energy, and you start eating less. How many people are actually eating enough as it is?
Right.
And how many people have enough micronutrients in their diet to support a healthy metabolism and a healthy life?
Yeah, it feels like we're running down this path at 100 miles an hour, but there's going to be things we learn along the way.
When's the last time we had herd mentality? This was around 2020.
Yeah.
And now we're herding to this one thing. Obviously, something like a GLP.
We herded to obesity, though, too. So we herded to obesity, too.
We did herd to obesity.
We did that pretty good.
For men, the issue becomes, losing all this weight so fast, testosterone just is going to plummet. For women, it's probably it's not probably. It is healthier to be a little bit too fat than a little bit too
definitely. Fat. I know a lot of friends that have had fertility issues and actually gaining a little bit of weight where you wouldn't think they would need to. They would look very healthy and fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Progesterone dictates a large part of fertility. Progesterone is highest in the body when you feel safe and relaxed and comfortable. Like, putting on a little bit of weight means your body's going to be able, and in many cases, to relax, to feel like it has excess.
What's your opinion? Like, the one thing that freaks me out is like some of these colon cancer rates for young people are actually like the rate of increase is like we're missing something. Like there's.
I don't think we're missing. I think it's right in front of us. I think,
but I wonder what specifically, like what are we looking at? Because it's jumped like crazy.
We've got some issues with what was pumped into our body.
Yeah, I'm curious to learn because it's actually scary. Like I've known a few people that have been diagnosed that are
terrifying.
That are young.
It's terrifying.
Yeah,
like that's one of the worst.
And there's
forms.
Almost no symptoms until late.
I know. Here's what I'll say. At risk of the reason Grow or Die got kicked off the air was I had a round table with 3 docs, and we were just discussing everything that we were duped on, and it had like a retarded of views in like the first 24 hours, and I just woke up the next morning, gone, no warning, nothing. So I want to be careful how I say this. If there was anything that the government might have wanted you to last 7 years and you did do it, let's look into some EBOO blood draws and maybe we should go get a few of those done.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll say.
Yeah.
I think that can prevent or inhibit a lot of downstreams from happening. But I also think, and a point that I want to drive home with you more, is the breathing thing.
Yeah.
I am the biggest proponent of mouth tape. I had no surgery this year to clear up my
septum.
I had overgrown turbinates and I had deviated septum.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I had that, I was still using mouth tape, and a lot of people get like nervous about that.
Yeah.
But dude, your body's not gonna let you suffocate.
No, it usually makes it better.
It
alleviates congestion. Yeah.
But if you're breathing through your mouth, one, there's no vagus nerve activation, or there's little vagus nerve activation we're actually going to get from that. It has to come through our nose. Our brain's not going to cool enough to actually get into deep states of sleep, as it will if we're breathing through our nose. And man, talk about dental hygiene.
I think in the next 5 years, that's going to be one of the biggest shifts.
I think mouth tape is going to become so freaking mainstream as dentists are like, oh shit, your dental health is a direct reflection of your cardiovascular health and your nervous system.
It used to be a lot more of a correlation that, they thought it was like, oh, well, people have better, healthier behaviors. Those original studies, like, I want to say it came out in the 90s of like correlation of cardiovascular disease and the amount of times or frequency of brushing your teeth.
Wow.
And for a long time, it was like, oh, it must be a behavior-based thing where people who live a healthier lifestyle that are brushing their teeth more, which does make sense.
Yep.
So more of a correlation. And I think that was a big miss. I think that chronic low-grade inflammation of the gums, and I think over the next 5 years, I work with this Super Teeth. It's a company. It's like a pre-probiotic toothpaste.
Okay.
That supports the microbiome of your mouth, and I just think like that will, like we're going to really realize the impact of the mouth as far as like from a longevity perspective, which I don't think has been discussed.
I agree. No, we're so new to that.
Yeah. And then breathing out of your mouth is one of the worst ways to set yourself up for success.
Horrendous.
As far as like a bacteria
It also
balance.
that's also a stress thing.
Yeah,
Like, when do we
100%.
breathe out of our mouth when we're in competition?
Yeah, think about a dog. It's like when do they only breathe out of their mouth when they're sick. They're high bouts of exercise. It's meant to be for a stressful state for a reason.
Yep.
And you'll see a cheetah running 60 miles an hour breathing out of their nose.
Yep. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
If you are someone who snores at night and whatnot, you absolutely have to start using mouth tape.
And get a sleep study.
Yeah.
Because I think it is important to realize like the extent of what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Because there are times where clinical interventions, it's one of those things where you need immediate treatment if you're not getting oxygen to your brain.
Yep.
So
are you familiar with DSIP? Peptide.
Yeah.
Man, I have seen that do some amazing.
Yeah. Some of the, and it's that's old. It's an old peptide. It's just some of the mechanisms are still like they're not really sure what's going on.
You don't want to rely on it.
And it
you can become reliant.
The long term. It's more the long term stuff because it does seem to be effective right out of the gate. I've never used it, but quite a few people talk about it, and it kind of fell off of the research. So it's one of those things. It's like
I think sure. Let me put this in a manner that I think can be relatable for anyone. So I was a track athlete.
Yep.
So we would do
what did you do?
Sprinting, 200 and 400 at University of Cincinnati. I wasn't very good in college.
my buddy who played fullback at Michigan State's a strength coach there now, so we'll probably be up there.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. I was a strength coach. That's where my career started as strength coach.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because my strength coach, changed my life.
Mike Rayfeld changed my freaking life.
There's no one more impactful than your strength and conditioning coach.
No one.
Like they coach the team 90%.
What an impactful position. I know. They're amazing. I could go on a whole tangent about that. So we had these woodways.
Yep.
And in a woodway, we would do overtraining. Let's say I can run 20 miles an hour.
I remember doing that.
And we're going to pull them. It's going to pull me to 23 miles an hour.
Yep.
That overtraining trained my body to move faster. This is how I view like a DSIP type of peptide. But we have to use it short term. It can teach your body this is how we sleep.
Yeah.
It can fix sleep architecture short term. It's not just melatonin can have amazing effects when it's not completely overdone. I think that for people who have chronic sleep issues, this can be a part to a whole. But if you have chronic sleep issues and you're not doing the things that we already talked about, if you're breathing out of your mouth, Well, de-sipping will do shit.
No.
We're not fixing anything.
It's going to be a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Well, also, it's like when someone has like chronic sleep issues, it's like, well, what does that actually look like? Because 95% of the time, it's not sleep.
Yeah.
Like, it's everything that's happening throughout the day, stress management, nutrition, like, are they at a healthy weight? It usually, like, they have the ability to sleep well if they get their lifestyle in order most of the time, or stress management. Like, a lot of it on the psychological side, I think it's just people don't really know how to manage their stress, and where's that going to show up first? Their sleep, right? Because
what stress management look like to you?
I mean, not to get too philosophical, but I honestly do feel like if you don't have purpose in your life, it's really hard to sleep well. I think that if you don't feel fulfilled and have relationships, eventually it's going to catch up with you. And so I think that's a lot of times where stress arises. It's like when you have expectations for yourself and you're not there and you don't see a clear path between the two, I honestly think that's what long-term chronic stress looks like. And there's obviously different types of stress and different small things that happen, but I think at the really foundational level, a lot of times that's where it arises. And I think a lot of people that I talk to that are like have sleep issues, that's where it stems from, and it just unravels. Like, these behaviors unravel because at the end of the day, you're not happy with who you're around and what you're doing in your life. And so sometimes sleep can be a giant mirror to make you do some self-reflection and figure out, am I doing the right things in my life? And, a lot of times things fall into place. Not only at sleep, but during the day, lifestyle changes. Like, it's really hard to be miserable and be doing all the right things. So
there's an adage about, I'm going to paraphrase, depression can't catch a man in motion.
Yeah.
I don't know many people who have depression who wake up with a legitimate purpose, a legitimate reason to get out of bed every single day. Now, more than ever, it's so fucking easy to win because people are just so sidetracked, or they're so low testosterone, or they're so just easy to defeat because purpose has seemingly been drained.
Yeah.
And you're a very purposeful man. I'm sure you've gone through periods like
100%.
after college, I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
I got super fat.
Did you?
I got to like 296 and just... Shit. Yeah, and we're sitting here talking about purpose, and I'm like, if you don't have purpose, but I'm not. That's definitely not easy.
It's so hard.
It's
how did you find, like, obviously, like right now it's like sleep, but bigger than sleep. Like, how did you find your North Star? How did it come to you?
I do get a ton of fulfillment from just like people's responses and helping. Like, I think my parents are both teachers, and so I was always brought up with like, that's what life's about, is like helping other people. And I wanted to be a teacher for a while. I was a math major, and that's what I thought I was going to do. And so I've seen that. Like, I've seen my parents, and my mom was a kindergarten teacher, and I've just seen the impact. And I think like that's just my source of happiness comes from that. And that's why I want to be a strength conditioning coach. And so I think this just progressed because when I started, working with sleep and in that space, it was early and people weren't talking about it. And so the changes and like the impact I would see, I would go do a talk at a company and get these messages that were like, I'm a better parent, better husband, like that. I mean, there's nothing better than that, So like, that's what really is driving, is just to get that feeling of feeling like you change someone's life. And I do feel like sleep is this avenue that is so impactful yet still underutilized. And so, yeah, it was easy to kind of make that choice because it felt so great. It felt like you were doing the right things and actually making the world a better place. And then when you compare a business with that, like that's a rare combination to feel like everything you put out there is actually making the world a better place.
I agree.
And I feel like we're in a really special place with Dream, like that's where I feel like we are. And it's fun to wake up every day and feel that way.
It's amazing.
It's hard. I think that's hard to find. I think like, I went through a lot of ups and downs trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
And it's not like finding purpose is easy, but if you just keep going, you'll get there.
There's something to be said about the power of external validation. And like the stoic or philosophical people will be like, drive yourself. You don't need external validation. You don't need the lure of the audience. And I'm like, brother, when the audience starts praising you for changing their life, yes, you do.
But I mean, I always talk about this, I always get in this debate with people when they're like, it's you versus you. Like when they run a marathon, like I'm not doing it for, anybody else.
No, I'm living life to defeat every other man.
Well, it's like you wouldn't be doing this if no one else was there. If you were just on the earth by yourself, you would have nothing to compare.
You would have played football, body on the line if there was the 80K at the stadium every week.
It's fun, and like we're meant to connect with people, so that's part of it. It's just that's an interaction. That's receiving love, and that's interacting with people, and so like I don't think that's necessarily negative, but
there's a balance.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not sure what that balance is. I mean, you're internally motivated.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's days that are hard.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get the Instagram message that you change someone's life.
Great.
It's like, okay.
It's great.
I'm locked in.
And the best, too, is like I love doing events because I love like face-to-face. You know, when you hear that, it's like I'm also a huge softie, so I usually like start tearing up. And there's plenty of examples of that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think that's why we're here. I don't think and you know, it's a really interesting take, and I don't remember who said this, but they talked about anxiety being the most selfish feeling you can feel. Ooh. And when you think about it, it is impossible to have the feeling of anxiety when you're fully present, externally focused, right? So if you're fully focused on somebody else, trying to help them, you're talking, communicating with them, like the feeling of anxiety only comes when you're internally focused, right? Like when you start thinking about yourself, how you feel, how people are thinking of you, how you're interacting, what their perception is of you, right? Like if you're truly present, you really cannot have much anxiety. And so I thought that was an interesting spin. I don't necessarily disagree with it when you really break it down.
I agree with that heavily.
And we think when you have more anxiety, when you have natural bouts of that, it does become very internally and focused on self.
Yeah. That's interesting because, yes, people who have high amounts of anxiety, they're so in their head. They think that the spotlight is on them and that other people care about them way more than
no one really cares.
Dude, nobody gives me.
No.
Like I love recording content in front of big people.
Yeah.
Like I will pull my phone out, and
no one cares.
The reason being, number one, in Austin, it's like so normal.
Yeah, it's
like you kind of see it all the time. So maybe I have a.
I feel like I almost live in Austin here. I've been here like three times in the last 2 months.
Oh no shit! Really?
Yeah.
Really, dude, I love it here.
I almost moved here.
I love it here. Where we met each other last night. That's where I'm moving into.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
That's a
amazing place.
Yeah.
Amazing place. So the thing about anxiety, I mentioned depression earlier, brings up a book I've talked about on the podcast before called Lost Connection. Have you ever heard of it?
I haven't heard
Lost
it.
Connection? You would love this freaking book.
I'll read it.
The author was on, actually found him through Chris's podcast. And his book's amazing. He traveled to like 9 cut off from human life tribes.
I've
heard of this?
Yes, I have.
None of them have anxiety. None of them have depression because every single person in their society has a direct job that they are responsible to do every single day for the tribe to continue to exist, to reproduce, to move forward with whatever that forward means for them. They have 0 instances of anxiety, of depression, of the S word that you can't say on YouTube, of sleep issues, of autoimmune issues. They don't have that.
Yeah.
And now the comeback people have is like, well, they die like age 40. Yeah, dude, they don't have access to a lot of shit.
Yeah. There's still real life stuff.
Yeah, there's still life stuff. You want to talk about poor dental health?
Yeah.
Like, these people can't brush their teeth.
Yeah.
There is something behind that in our current society, with screen time, with social media, like you and I are on social media all the freaking time. We have to be.
Yeah.
And that is so easy to pull you out of right now. It's so easy to pull you out of gratitude because, whoever you and I look up to on social media, it's like, wow, like I have a lack of something.
For sure.
And then people look at us like that.
And that's infinite. You'll always find that.
Always.
Yeah.
And, living in Austin and shit, you have it too. Like, there's 6 billionaires within a mile of me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, I can never possibly ever catch up.
Yeah.
So if you start playing this
But they have the same feelings that everybody else does.
100%.
Yeah.
But people feel that way about us. We feel that way about people. The people we feel that way about feel that way about other people.
Yeah.
Like, there's always something that you just simply won't have.
Mm-hmm.
Or is there just always something that we're in the right space? We're right where we need to be. We're right where we deserve to be. But the lure of social media just allows us. Like, let me ask you a question, because my answer is it's been way too long. When's the last time you went on social media and shared a gigantic, heartbreaking loss, or like how you actually were feeling on a bad day? Like, do you ever share that?
No,
I don't share
not
that
very
shit.
often. No,
I don't share that.
no.
Dude, I had a horrendous day on Monday of this week, but I never shared that on social media.
Yeah.
Like, I cried on Monday.
Well, are you gonna do it?
Well, I think I need to, and that's why it's been in my mind. Like, but it's also easy
You
to
should
do
do
a
it.
podcast.
That'd be a good exercise.
It'd be great.
I'll commit to it if you commit to it.
All right, shake on it. All right, we're gonna do it.
Deal,
We're gonna share.
deal.
We're gonna share struggles.
Now we got to work on having a really bad day.
Well, you almost got a car accident on the way.
Yeah, that could have been a bad day.
Yeah, that could have been a bad day.
I would have shared that.
But it's funny. This all does actually tie into sleep and whatnot too. It really just ties into things bigger than that. As now we're talking about purpose. Man, if you're just surrounded by good people, to be honest, Todd, like what happened last night's a perfect example. I was having dinner with some friends. You're across the restaurant having dinner with friends. You guys came over and linked up before you walked out. And there's this thing I talk about all the time, IEV, ideation to execution velocity. I'm talking with you. You've been on my podcast before.
Yep.
The idea popped in my head. Todd, you want to come on my show in 12 hours?
Yeah. I was like,
And like
done.
now we're here.
Yeah.
That's a part. Remember, depression can't catch a man in motion.
Yeah.
But also, like, this is tribal community. Like, you've got your team out there.
Yeah.
On a team call right before I came up here. Like, we've put ourselves in this community. And when you have community to lean on and everyone has their place, then you're going to wake up every single day with so much purpose.
Oh, there's nothing better.
There's nothing better.
I do think that's so I've lived in Miami, New York, Chicago, Michigan, and I do think like for like younger people especially, like getting out in the world and finding your place. Like Austin's an amazing place because like what you're saying, like if you can find that community that you really connect with, like you're going to be able to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You get yourself around the right people that make you feel like on fire and empowered, like you can do whatever. But on the flip side, if you are around the people that don't make you feel that way, you just become one in the mix.
Yep.
And so I think that like getting as many experiences in life early on is such a weapon for somebody because you're going to find that much faster than if you just kind of do the same stuff, you're around the same people. Like you're not going to just be exposed to the different things. And I think the more you get exposed to, the more you figure out what you're supposed to be doing in your life. But it's almost like you have to rack those up rapidly when you're young, or else you'll never get there because you kind of back yourself into your life, more expenses. Maybe get married and like you have all these things that tie you back. But early on, it's like do everything, say yes to everything, every moment, every adventure. Like do as much as you can. Only good will come from that.
I agree. Your brain also just becomes so much less malleable as we age.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Like,
I could tell.
It was the last
Can't
time my
remember
parents
anything.
changed their mind on something.
I know.
It's been a really long time.
I feel it too, man. I like, especially when I'm around these young kids. I'm like, dang.
I know, but the world is like your oyster at that time. But it's so easy for us to sit here and say, get out of your hometown, leave.
It's
go make
hard.
Friends, go network.
It's hard.
Like we're in a privileged position. Like we did that, and it was brutal in the time.
Yeah.
But
I mean, my wife is such a credit for that. Like she lived a whole life. She turned pro at 16 as a swimmer, and she just like her life experience was crazy. And I was from this tiny small town, and like without her, I would have never done some of this stuff. And so, I mean,
power of the right partner.
I mean, I love that. I don't think there's anything more powerful than that. It's also, it's like when you take a risk on when you have a partner like that is like a ride or die.
Yeah.
Is it really a risk though? Like, when you turn around, you have someone that loves you that's going to help you get through it. Like, it's a risk, but it's a lot different feeling than if you're just like in it solo. So I think obviously finding the right person is impactful, but you won't realize how impactful it is until you go through those ups and downs.
Yeah. There's another adage I always love to share about if you were to have a child right now. And
I'm having one in August.
Pick. Are you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
oh, dude,
yeah,
beautiful. Congrats.
Yeah. First one, yeah.
That's
we're excited.
amazing.
Yeah.
So for your child, boy or girl, do we know yet?
Girl. Yep.
We're going to fast forward to when she's 30 years old. What makes her the absolute best possible human that she can be? Is it having the super easy, stress-free, no pressure, no trials and tribulations life? Or is it, man, we went through some stuff and we constantly had to stand back up and we constantly had to have resilience and we constantly had to find your way.
Yeah.
There was always a battle to be fought. And you're allowed to lose some battles. You just can't lose the war.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I think about what the traits of somebody that's great, like what you're talking about. It's like you have to go through certain feelings and situations to become that person, and I think you have to provide those opportunities for kids. And obviously, I haven't been a parent, so this is probably I'm going to learn a lot through the way. But like my friend Jesse Itzler, like I really look up to the way that he parents, because like he does not strip his kids of disappointment, and I think disappointment has been stripped from kids. And what's cool, what I love about sports in particular, is you can create like high emotions, disappointment, success, failures. It really does. It almost like intensifies the feelings of life in these short bouts throughout a kid's life. Yeah. And I think it's a great place to learn some of those traits.
I agree.
And that's why I love it. And I think it is important to like, let them have those feelings of failing and have those feelings of success and them care. Like Gary Vee always talks about, like, if your kid comes off the field after a loss and he's really upset, the worst thing you can do is say that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I fully agree with that. Or you have the Cam Newton quote of, show me a good loser.
Show me a good loser.
And I'll show you a loser.
Yeah. I love that.
It's so good. It's true though. It's like, it's like, why even live if you're not going to have these feelings? And so, as a parent, I don't really care what they do as long as they do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do. Experience. Yeah, do things, be with people, try stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll find something that they like. But I think it'd be really easy, especially in like this day and age, to go through life without a lot of adversity and learn those things without situations like athletics.
Yeah. Did you cry a lot when you lost growing
up? I'm still a pretty bad sport, to be honest with you.
No, yeah, I don't.
Like
I can't take an L.
I'm like really annoying when I lose. Like I'm kind of like passive aggressive.
Yeah.
And, it's not.
No, I'm
good.
a bitch.
Yeah.
But we haven't lost.
There's very
Like, that's why.
Yeah, there's very few great competitors that are just like shrug it off.
My nephew's 7 years old, unbelievable athlete, dude's a stud. He in his basketball league, they're undefeated, but if they get up by a certain amount, they turn the scoreboard off. No.
It's like, why? I don't understand. No. It's like
they stop keeping score.
That's almost like detaching reality.
I know. It is.
That's the facts. Like that's how it is.
There's a scoreboard in life.
Yeah.
You are winning or you are losing. There's not a tie. There's not it's okay. There's not a tomorrow. There is a right now. We only have right now. You either won or you lost. And like I said, you're allowed to lose a battle. You can't lose the war.
Right.
And if we're ingraining that into children, I mean, look, our fucking society is going that way. And also, like, that's a little bit boomer of us to be like, back in my day, we can't score. But that's just how I feel.
My thought on the way I define a good sport is like you have these intense emotions and anger and sadness, but you're able to just like shake someone's hand and not punch them in the face.
Yeah.
Like that's a good sport to me. Like you're able to control enough to where you can be cordial and not be a psycho, but like that doesn't mean you're not feeling it the same way. It just means you have enough self-control to get through that moment.
Yeah.
Like that's how I define it. I think some people would define it as like literally not feeling that. Yep. And that's very different.
Yeah, I would disagree heavily with that.
But don't you think that that's like the thought of like a lot of the things like
I've never thought of it in that manner, and that is super true because also what happens is outside of sports, I think sports teaches you things that nothing else.
No, it's really hard because there's like the physical component of it of like, pain and like physical output and effort.
Yeah.
Where
like you gave your best.
Yeah, and like you might like injure you put your body on the line. That's why I do love football is because there is this component of like physicality, like a warlike physicality where you are sacrificing your body to some extent, which just adds this extra layer of intensity.
Football's modern day gladiator.
Yeah.
Gladiator.
There's so many life lessons with it too because there's so many people on the field at the same time. So like it's very like you have your job and it impacts everybody else. So I think there's a lot of life lessons with that.
Todd, I want to finish up. I appreciate your time with a question. Take as much time as you need to answer this. We've had amazing conversation. A lot of people are impacted by this. On my podcast, it's 25 to 34 or 35, whatever that metric is that YouTube tracks. Like that's like 70-some% of my listeners. And it's like 70-some% dudes.
Yeah.
So that's who we're speaking to. You're 25 years old, right? You were an athlete at Michigan State, Did you guys ever beat Ohio State when you were there?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah. We won 2 Big Ten championships.
Oh, no shit. Who was your quarterback when you were there?
Kirk Cousins.
But you were with Kirk Cousins, because that's right. I remember that. No shit. 25-year-old Todd who doesn't have purpose. What did you need to hear in that moment?
What did I need to hear? That's a great question.
This is my 523rd podcast episode, so I should be pretty good at asking questions.
Yeah. I think that it will all be worth it. You know, like, it'll all be worth it, and the way you get to that point is just to go. Keep going, one foot in front of the other. There's going to be a bunch of bad stuff that happens, a bunch of great stuff. But, like, when you look at everyone, you know, I think I was literally talking about this on the way here. Everyone loves to ask the question or figure out, of all these hyper-successful people out there, what is this underlying trait they all have? And I don't think there's any. I think every hyper-successful person has found their own path. You know, if you look at Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Tim Cook, all these people, they're completely different. The only thing, and it's not even a trait, I think it's an action, is they do not stop. Yep. They go and they keep moving forward and they learn and get better. And so I think forward momentum and forward movement is the only way to success. And I think that's the only way to learn as much as you can, experience as much as you can experience. So just don't stop, because when you stop, you start to die a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I think that's when things like we're talking about, like that's when anxiety pops up, is when you stop. It's like your quote.
Depression can't catch a man in motion.
I think that is like the key to life.
Yep.
And I think that's exactly what I would need to hear.
Yep.
And I get the other thing too is like, you know, we're sitting here saying all this stuff, but like in the moments, in those lows, that's the hardest thing to hear. It's awful, and you don't want to hear that, and it feels like it's never going to end. And it is like I don't want to like downplay those troughs, those lows, but you need those. Like they're part. Like, you know, you always talk about like peaks and valleys, like ups and downs, and you know they always compare the stock market, but like those lows are actually the biggest steps, and you can't skip steps. That you build these steps throughout your life, and the lows sometimes give you the biggest jump forward. And so, you know, as cliche as it sounds, like you really can't skip steps. So just know, like at some point you'll look back at those steps and realize, like, oh, that one was real important. I would have fell through if I didn't have that step right there.
I love that, dude. Congrats on the success, man. You're
Thanks,
awesome.
man.
I can chat with you for hours.
Yeah, you'd say, man.
You're fantastic. Everyone who wants to follow Todd, all of the information is going to be down below. Plug your company real fast.
Yeah, so we're Dream Recovery. We make all the sleep stuff, and check it out. But you know, at the end of the day, we're just trying to help people feel better. Honestly, that's what we're doing, and it's become like I started doing the sleep stuff before we sold anything. So it's cool. Like our goal is like if we can educate everybody on sleep, getting them sleeping better. And then once they feel like they need products to support that, if we have the best products out there, like that's when people come to us. So yeah, Dream Recovery is the name, but start sleeping better first, and then come find us.
I love it. Todd, thanks so much, brother.
Great to see you, man.
Such a pleasure. Great to see you. Elite Coach Cast. Make sure to like, subscribe. Go support Todd on his mission. And as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.